Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Waaaay Offsides. Welcome our good friend, Mr. Nick Kelly, beat writer for Tuscaloosa, or for Alabama for AL.com. Sorry, I get that confused.
There you go.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Nick?
Welcome
back.
Good to be back, guys. Good to see you. And what a time in Alabama athletics.
Oh, my gosh. All right, Nick. The first thing you got to do is talk all the gumps, all us Bams off the ledge, man. Like, I've never seen a nation turn on somebody so quick in 3 weeks that I have now. But
it's been a
we're going to be fine, right, Nick?
Weeks.
We're going to be fine, right?
I think long term, yes. I think things are going to be fine. Of course, right now it's tough because it's predictable, right? I mean, I think we saw or could foresee whenever Kalen DeBoer has his first loss, people are going to be a little concerned. You know, people are going to start being, oh no, Nick Saban's not here anymore. Of course, it didn't help that it was against Vanderbilt,
that's the truth.
Who traditionally is not near as good of a program. I will say right now it's a ranked loss because Vanderbilt's ranked 25th. So the loss, I don't think is going to look as bad as people thought. Alabama still should have won that game, but still your two losses are to ranked teams. You'd like probably both of them back. Alabama could have won both of those games, didn't. And yeah, I mean, this season, the lack of disciplined play at times, lack of discipline on the field, penalties, has turned a team with really elite potential into a fairly average team. So, no, right now things are not necessarily great. But I don't know if that means it's an indictment on Kalen DeBoer long term. There just might be some patience required, and we might just be seeing the result of what's right now a really tough college football. Look at what Kennesaw State just did to Liberty.
Yeah, that was insane, man.
Didn't see that coming.
I think it happened between the lines, right?
No, I think Kennesaw State was a 27-point underdog. So yeah, that was well, everyone knows where we're at going in against Missouri. We've seen it for the past. We saw it after Vanderbilt, and we really saw it after Tennessee. It's everyone calling for Coach's head. You know, they want him out. You see a lot of the, you know, is it Milroe? Is it the offensive play calling? But you published an article earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, talking about making the small changes, getting back to basics, doing the small stuff. You want to everyone didn't really read it. I know everyone watching that, and you want to kind of touch base on that for everybody.
Yeah, so CJ Dupree, who's one of the best quotes on the team, really enjoyed talking to him. Really sharp guy. Also, frankly, a heck of a football player. He talked about how important it was for Alabama to just make sure they're not getting bored by the small details. They're not getting distracted or forgetting about those things because, yeah, it's not exciting to tuck in your shirt. It's not exciting to be 5 minutes early to a meeting, but those small things add up. And those small things, not to get on my coaching soapbox here, but when you have those small things go wrong and you don't have that attention to detail, it shows up in the bigger things. You know, how you do one thing is how you do everything, kind of a mindset. And I don't know if it's been bad in that regard, but I think it sounds like it can be better still. So I think that when you lose two games like they have before November for the first time since 2007, you start looking at the smaller things. And it seems to be that some of the leaders on the team, like CJ, are doing that.
That's good to hear. I mean, that's good to hear that they're focusing on stuff like that. But my whole point with the whole thing with Kalen is like, this is a tough league. I mean, there's no shame in losing 2 games in the SEC, but
it's not the Vanderbilt of 15 years ago. I can tell you that.
That quarterback is a football player, and he could start for any team in this league right now.
That's it.
Diego Pavia is a dude. I mean, he'll beat you. He beat Auburn, he beat Alabama.
Like the guy can play.
Yeah.
No, he's a baller. Like, I don't know what his, pro prospects are going to look like, but he finds a way to win, and you got to give him credit. But again, Alabama should have won those games. So let's not make mistakes there. Like, Alabama should have and could have won those games. But it's not quite as maybe Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois, kind of a vibe for Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. And again, it's so predictable because we knew that the moment the first signs of anything going wrong, oh my gosh, Nick Saban's not here anymore. Alabama's in trouble. Like, and yeah, like it is going to be tough to win and do what Saban did over the span of what, like 2009 to like 17 or 15. Like that will not be replicated
ever.
I don't care if Nick Saban was still coaching Alabama. Like that's just
not reality.
No, you can't do that right now with NIL.
That's video game like.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's me. Yeah, like I think it's just gonna be so hard to get used to that for Alabama fans. So I don't blame anyone who's maybe a little shocked by all this because, yeah, I mean, all Alabama did for forever was win, and did it at such a high level that I don't know that we'll ever see again. So it's going to take time to get used to the maybe the more the vibe of what was happening in the early 2000s. I hate to bring that up for some pains there, but I'm not saying they're going to go back to that, but it's just the reality of it's becoming more like the NFL where any given Saturday,
exactly,
you can get beat.
Yep. And that's I think that's what we're going to see going in the future. Not just the SEC, but every conference. You're going to see a more level playing field between.
I mean, maybe if we as Alabama fans don't as much, but I think it makes for great television for me.
Yeah,
I mean, it really does. I mean, we're out of the days of the 58-7 blowout.
Sucks losing, but you're right, Nick. It amplifies the intrigue of the game. And say what you will about the NFL, that's the number one sport for a reason.
Yep.
Because it's intense, and the playoffs are a different animal, and getting there is an uphill climb. And these leagues are hard to win, man. I said the other day, you're going to look across the board at the end of the year, and a lot of these teams playing in their conference championship game are going to have 1-2 losses in the Power Four.
Well, and even preseason predictions are always tough, but you look at, like, not to call out anyone for preseason predictions because it's tough to do, but Nick Saban, he thought Florida State was going to win the ACC and have a great season. And he said himself how difficult it is to make predictions, and he gets it now. Like, when you're in the prediction business, it's hard. You just don't know. Like, it can really go sideways. And what you think you find out it's maybe not true. So, no, I think, there's great parity right now. It's fun if you don't have a horse in the race that's used to being dominant.
Right.
But I still think there's a path. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, like what they've done in the NFL there's a ton of parity in the NFL, but good teams still rise to the top and win out more often than not. So it just might be harder to have constant winning by 30, 40 points like Alabama got used to for so long, but I still think there's some joy and fun that can be found in it. And I'm not saying college football needs to become like the NFL. I just think that, for lack of better, just way to put it, it's becoming more like the NFL in terms of anyone can beat anyone. Like it's becoming far less predictable, and to me that makes it fun,
especially in this league. SEC is a grind, like basketball. As we're coming up on basketball season. Yes. Once we hit January and we start playing those 2 SEC games a week, that is a grind. And then the end of the year, you get to the tournament, and I've always said you should throw the tournament so you get the rest, which I didn't say Bama threw the tournament last year, but they lost the first game, got rested, went to the Final Four. Year before, had the best team in history, grinded through the tournament, burned out in the second weekend. So they may be completely unrelated, but in my world, in my head, they're directly related. And so I say, if you win the league, you should be able to say, we don't need the tournament, we're out.
That's right.
Since you're forced to play the tournament.
You might be onto something, honestly.
He may be. Nick, we've all seen, we've heard a lot about the offense over the last 3 weeks. And there was speculation, and we know how speculation is that, and it's been all over Twitter, social media, X, that maybe Jalen Milroe has been playing injured. Have you seen anything coming out of the camp there in Tuscaloosa that may point toward that or anything?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys in this roster right now who are banged up in some way, who aren't 100%. And he's probably on that list in some regard, but the sense I haven't gotten a sense that he's dealing with something serious or that he's trying to overcome something that is like remember when Bryce Young 2 years ago basically wasn't practicing. I think he was, what was it, a shoulder injury or something like that?
As Arkansas Bryce, just throw the ball away. I'm sorry, Nick. Sorry. I'm back.
Man, I forgot about that. That feels like forever ago now. But
I know, right?
No, I think that for Jalen, like, I mean, he might be dealing with some of that stuff, but from what I've gleaned talking to people, there's nothing that has stood out to me of that he's not, and like as Kalen DeBoer said, that he's not capable of going out there and doing a good job. I think the biggest key for Jalen is just to get his confidence back to the level it was against Georgia. In those moments where he looked like a Heisman contender. There have been some former players who've been overly critical of Jalen and what he can and can't be. And
drives me nuts.
Not that I played quarterback myself in college, so I don't want to pretend that I'm a complete X's and O's expert, but there have been throws that Jalen's made that have been really good and really impressive. Like that wheel route to Jam Miller in the Georgia game.
That's the best throw all
ball
season.
Placement was incredible. Like that, you don't throw that if you can't play quarterback at a high level. And so Jalen can do that. The key is just get his confidence back, get him to a point where he's seeing the field. He's not making panicky moves. He's not, his feet aren't too happy in the pocket. And when the play's not there, he's getting rid of it. So I just think that Alabama's got to set him up for success. The coaching staff has to do what it can to make him feel more confident because the capability's there. I truly believe that.
Right.
Well, in Nick Sheridan's defense, he took a lot of heat. He's taken a lot of heat this year. But in Nick Sheridan's defense Saturday, there were players wide open all over the field. And that's what kind of led everybody to believe that something was wrong with Jalen, that he missed them so badly. Like he doesn't miss them this bad. They're this wide open. He's 10 yards over their head, yards behind him. Won't even throw to Jeremy, who's wide open down the field, almost like he knew he couldn't get it there. So he checked down, threw it 10 yards over Williams' head out of bounds. And you're like, something's got to be off with him, where he's not taking off running, and he's missing these easy throws. And so we're all just like, something's got to be off. So I think that's where that came from.
It can be multiple things, but just from what I've gleaned, I think it's just getting his confidence back to where it needs to be is the biggest thing. And especially, I mean, when you're facing fronts like Tennessee's, like South Carolina's, like those are some good fronts. The moment things start going wrong, it's hard not to get in that kind of panicky mode of just trying to make sure you're not getting sacked, trying to make sure that that you see guys coming, because when you're focused on the up close, you're focused on these guys coming after you. It's a lot harder to see 30, 40 yards downfield kind of thing. So, I mean, obviously it wasn't a good game, and he's not played the past couple of games as well as he did against Georgia. So I think it's right to question some of that, but maybe he's a little banged up, but again, I think that he's capable of going out and doing what he needs to do. And if he wasn't, he wouldn't be out there. So, I think that it comes down to his confidence and setting him up for success.
He's taking some licks this year. There's no question about that. I mean, he's taking some shots.
He definitely has.
Let's I see C-Dub ask a question in the chat. Nick, have you been at the facilities or any practices this week, and has there been a change in the environment compared to what it has been since the Vanderbilt loss?
Yeah, well, so we aren't able to go to practice during the season. That's only during fall camp.
Okay.
So I can't speak from just being at practice, but I think that just the sense I get talking to people, the sense that I just get from press conferences, like there's basically you got to win out. Like it's kind of playoffs now. Like people are frankly,
we're in it now.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think people are very locked in. And again, whether that translates to wins or losses, I think some people are sick of hearing about some of these things, and they're sick of, hearing people say good things out of the program. But at the end of the day, you can't, I mean, I don't know if you want them to say like, practice was bad and, all that stuff.
Right.
But so
Jim Morris Sr. on him.
like talk is cheap. It takes money to buy whiskey. So either way, good or bad, the talk is what it is. And so that's, but I do sense people are locked in. They're kind of just, okay, let's get this figured out. Whether they do or not, we'll see. But I don't think it's a lack of focus or a lack of, they're awake now. I mean, there's definitely no sense of they're just, kicking their feet up and all right, another day at work. No, they're pretty locked in. So
just win them all now.
That's it. Gotta win out. We all predicted
couple of losses this year. Just being realistic, like it's hard for. And think about this, and I'll get to you in a second, Chris. But I wanted to bring this up when Nick was on the show. Think about this: nobody ever will ever have to fill the shoes that Kalen DeBoer is having to follow and fill right now. For the rest of college football, we will never see somebody go on a 17-year or 16-year run, if we don't count his first year as the transition, a run like that, where he played for 9 championships and won 6. That will never happen again, especially in today's landscape. So the Kalen DeBoer has taken on a job that no one has ever or will ever have to do again, which kind of amplifies like the difficulty of this transition. And you kind of think, like Pate said it the other day, you know, this first off season may not have been the way Kalen usually does an off season, as he's trying to keep the roster together and all that kind of stuff. So we don't even know what we're really getting yet. What we do,
no, I think
we don't.
Yeah, like I think you can't write Kalen off yet. You can't make any sweeping decisions. I mean, I get we live in a microwave society. We live in we want to find out what's today. What can you do for me right now? And and it's reasonable to expect good things. Like I'm not saying that you got to be okay with 4-8 or 6-6 or. I mean, even it's okay to be frustrated if they do finish 8-4 or 9-3. Like, I mean, obviously that'll be a shock to the system, but like, so I get being frustrated with that. But at the same time, to your point, he'll have a full off season this off season to get his guys to be more comfortable being in Tuscaloosa. I mean, the man was, Absolutely. I mean, he didn't really get settled for a while. I mean, his family didn't come for a while. He wasn't staying in like a house for a while. I mean, so it's one of those things where there's a lot of transition there. Now, you can be successful right away. It doesn't mean you can't. But I think it's also just understanding that, okay, what does Kalen's system look like? What does his team look like when they've had a full season, when they've had a full calendar year? In the same way that if you bring a guy in after the spring, I mean, he's only had a couple months to get ready. A player, I should say. Like if you're bringing a guy in, it's not easy necessarily to also pick up the playbook, be ready to go for that season. Now, Ryan Williams has made it look easy, but he's not robot. Your average recruit. So the point being is, I'm not saying that Kalen's going to be the guy to go win national championships or that he is the answer for sure. But I also think that you have to wait and see what happens when he gets more of his team in. Yep. When he can hire the staff he wants and not have to do it in transition while he's doing all this other stuff. I'm maybe more patient than the average person, but I do think that give it some time, see how it works out, let him make the program how he wants, and maybe it doesn't work. I'm not saying it can, or I'm not saying it will, but just give him some time,
give him a fair shake.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, for sure.
It's a different world nowadays, and that transition year is a lot different than it used to be.
Yeah, and he's got a young team in a lot of spots. Like you look at the defense in the secondary. I mean, how many young guys are they trotting out everywhere? And then they got more guys hurt now, and so that's the thing. Like, I mean, you got some young guys in some key positions, and you need to continue to develop them. I mean, if Alabama, it's hard to know what next season is going to look like because the portal NIL changes so much. But let's just say we can operate with the assumption of having guys back. I mean, you've got Xavier Brown as a 5-star guy. You've got Jalen Mbakwe, a 5-star guy. I mean, I think Zay Mincy a 5-star guy. So you've got some guys who are getting some quality snaps and learning that are going to have a season under their belt that have the pedigree. They're going to be in a much better spot there. So I think that, Agreed. I mean, yeah, so you're going to have some older guys in some spots that are important. And so I think that you just have to remind yourself that this roster in some ways is kind of patchwork. You had a lot of guys go after the draft. You had a lot of guys go to the portal. Brought some guys in, no doubt, but it's definitely not maybe what his peak will be from a roster standpoint.
Right. And you speaking about some of the young guys on defense, I think we saw a significant improvement this past week on defense. Even though we did suffer the loss, I myself believe the defense did enough to win if the offense could put points on the board.
So 100%. I think that, agree. I mean, yeah, the defense had some mistakes, and of course it's glaring late when they gave up a touchdown, but they got to stop on the next drive, 3 and out, right? If I remember correctly.
Mhm.
And then on the right after the 4th and 22 was turnover on downs, and Tennessee got the ball. The Alabama defense kept Tennessee to that field goal, and if they get 1 first down, it's game over. And they didn't get it.
Yep.
So like the defense stepped up, and that's not even mentioning the 3 takeaways the defense had in the first half. I mean, to me, this Alabama defense has had some troubles. It's definitely been a source of some problems, but it was definitely not the biggest problem that Alabama had in Knoxville.
Not at all. They did, like Chris said, they did more than enough to win that game.
I think what really frustrated me the most was we couldn't capitalize off of the 3 takeaways.
That was big.
100%. Yeah, 0 points is unacceptable when you have 3 takeaways against a Tennessee team.
Yeah.
When you're on the road, like that's your opportunity. That's your ticket to winning. And I mean, I think Alabama was favored a little bit, but essentially, getting that road win, that's not easy to do. And when you can get some takeaways, it goes a long way. And the fact that the offense did nothing with any of them is really not good.
Disappointing.
Disappointing. We're talking about the defense and takeaways, and I just wanted to mention Pitt is playing Syracuse tonight, and they have 4 interceptions in the first half, and 3 of them were pick sixes.
Who's they?
Pitt.
Oh, so it wasn't Holstein that threw those 4?
No. He hadn't had a great night so far. So,
but man, overall though, like what a year for him in that first role,
right?
Getting that start, like it just shows you the kind of quarterback play they had. The fact that he couldn't get a sniff, and now he's at Pitt and having a good year for himself. Like, good for him, frankly.
He was the one I thought was going to ascend to the top. I thought Eli was going to just win the job when he was given a chance, but it just never panned out. But he looks like a football player for Pitt.
He does.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and like when you had Lonergan was, I think, having a really good fall camp last year. So, I mean, that might have kept Eli a little bit from getting that chance. And, of course, you had Simpson and Milroe and Buckner. And so, what a packed room. What an interesting room, frankly. I mean, crazy to think back to.
But how different it is a year later. Like how different that room looks just 12 months later. Like how much can change.
Hey, and this next spring it can look a lot different. So
I think it's going to look quite a bit different. And just in my opinion, I think it's going to look quite a bit different.
That's right.
Yeah, but there's kids everywhere. You're right, Nick. They're just these kids just everywhere, which is why I was kind of my only hang up with the game plan Saturday at Neyland was, there was a lot of formation shifts and a lot of Milroe having to give instructions to linemen and whatever. And there's piping music in or piping sound in and all the crowd. And I thought it should have been a little more simplified in that environment in terms of noise. Like, we're going to run 6 plays. Like, remember the Titans. I'm running 6 plays, split B. Like, why? You run them all day, they work all day, whatever type. Not more than 6, obviously, but
Jeff, I think
the game plan
going to that's the one thing about having in-helmet communications is you lose a lot of the play calling from the sideline. When everyone could just look up, look at the sideline, and they
see the cards, the big cards they'd hold up.
See the Waffle House menu or whatever they're holding up.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Now, I think that, noise was definitely a factor, and I think it did limit Alabama. And maybe they could have prepared better to counter that. But part of me would believe, though, and I don't know, again, it's without being in those headsets, in those meetings. Like, Nick Sheridan coached at Tennessee at one point. He was a GA there. So, like, he knows what Neyland can be like. Now, granted, I don't think they were doing as well as they have in the last couple of years.
You're not even that loud when he was there.
No, probably not. But no, like, I went to a game there in 2016 when they played Missouri when I was still covering Mizzou, and that place was rocking. Now, granted, maybe that was comparing a little too much to Furrow Field, but yeah, I think that overall Tennessee, it's still pretty loud even in down years. So I'm a little surprised that maybe there was a better plan, or maybe Tennessee countered that well. But for the folks who were like, they may have even said in the broadcast that, hey, DeBoer maybe didn't know how loud it was going to be there. But I mean, Nick Sheridan, his OC, is very familiar with that. So I don't know if it's them not knowing. It just maybe Tennessee countered it well. Maybe Alabama didn't execute well.
It's hard to hear
everything. Yeah, it is hard to hear in there. No, it definitely. I mean, place is rocking. That place is electric.
That's a tough place to win. I mean, 16-1 against somebody is not reality. So, there's not going to be any runs like that against SEC teams anymore. Even if DeBoer is the greatest thing ever, the talent is too spread around to have a run like that against one school. We're gonna lose to some of these teams. Like, it's okay.
The talent distribution now is so much greater in terms of 5, 6, 7, 8 teams aren't the ones collecting like all the top end talent. I mean, It's no mistake that in the NIL transfer portal era that Josh Heupel was able to get Tennessee back on track. I mean, that's not a shot at Tennessee. To be clear, it really is just a case of they took advantage of a new era, and many teams have tried and failed. So it doesn't mean that just because you can spend or you have the ability to, that you're going to make the most of it. But it's definitely a new tool to be able to do that. And again, I hate to keep comparing to the NFL, but look at free agency. Some teams do really well with it. Some teams flame out with it. Remember the Eagles, Vince Young, I think, declared them the dream team back when they had that free agency run. It didn't work out. So it doesn't mean it's going to work out. So you still have to make the most of it. But yeah, it's leveled the playing field. The depth is hurt on many rosters, meaning Alabama doesn't necessarily have 6 5-stars lined up at one spot this guy got hurt, another 5-star. This guy got hurt, another 5-star. Like it's hard to build depth now because if you don't play, many guys are going to say, you know what, I'm going to go to this other school instead where I will play. And so, yeah, it's tough to maintain that depth, and you're seeing that. And other teams, that what you normally would have as depth, they're on other teams that you're playing now. So I think that, it doesn't mean you can't win. It doesn't mean that you can't be the top of the sport, but it just is a case of you can't always have the best talent up and down your roster like you might have been able to before when Alabama was really dominant.
Right. Chris, you got any questions from the chat?
Well, I'm getting caught up over here. That's what I'm trying to do. If I can make my computer act right. Yeah. Lance made a comment earlier, and I've heard some chatter, but that maybe there's a culture problem in the locker room. Have you heard anything even that you would even consider anyone mentioning anything like that, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know what defining a culture problem looks like. I mean, it can be such a
general term.
Yeah, and I get the question, so it's not even a comment. But I think that it can vary. I mean, it just depends on what, if people are wanting the Junction Boys kind of esque like atmosphere. I mean, it's kind of a bygone era, really. I mean, it's just like the people who are concerned about music at practice, or there's an ice cream truck at fall camp one day. Like, I mean, the hard thing is, like, you have to have some of that stuff to want for guys to want to play for you. Like, we're in an era where, again, if players really, really don't like you and feel like they're being mistreated, not enjoying themselves, like the players want the bells and whistles, like they do. Like these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that, and I should say young adults that they like fun things, like they want to enjoy themselves. And like, it doesn't mean that they can't work hard and they don't want to work hard, but you got to finding that balance of enjoyment and making sure that guys enjoy coming to work and enjoy coming to practice with being strict and regimented and all those things. Like you can't be far off on the one side where it's super strict and regimented. You also can't be on the side of just fun all the time. It's like a big old country club hangout. Like, so you got to find that middle spot. And maybe that's you found a good middle spot this season. Maybe you didn't last season. Maybe it's this week you did. Maybe last week you didn't. So I think it's an evolving thing, but to expect a program to also, when you have so much turnover, so many different guys I mean, I think it's just frankly too early to determine if there's a culture problem to say either way, because it's a transition right now. I mean, it's what it really is. And that's, again, people don't want that answer, but you got to have patience.
Everything's upside down. I mean, everything's different. Everything's different.
And I was having a chat at my real job this week with someone, and I told them they brought up the ice cream truck and music at practice and some semi-celebrities at practice, and I told him, I said, it's not the Junction Boys anymore, man.
They were the old fans, weren't they? They weren't any young.
No. One was my age. If you consider me young or middle age, what the hell does C mean? What does that mean, Jeff?
No, I'm saying your age, my age. The old school guys, which I'm.
Okay, I thought
a lot of the old school guys
was like 70
are having a difficult time accepting how things are now.
No, it's different, and like even the music at practice thing, like players want that. Like that's and it doesn't mean you have to give players everything they want, but like that's happening in many other places in the country. I'm pretty sure Georgia plays music at practice. Like,
yes,
this is not.
You have to.
I mean, again, it's you don't let them run the show, but like you have to do certain things to make guys want to come play for you. Just be frank.
Bingo. Yep. Because if you ain't playing music, somebody is down the street.
Yep.
And somebody is letting them listen to their headphones down the street. So nowadays they can just leave in the middle of the season. They ain't got to wait till the end of the year.
They don't have to.
I ain't happy. I'm out of here.
Now, I did post a picture on X this week, earlier in the week, of a couple of players on the field, and they had their headphones on, their phones in their hand, and all I did, I captioned it. Do you see do you see what I see, or something like that? And a lot of people drug me, but my youngest son, he's right now they're looking at going to state championship in Tennessee. They're undefeated. Nobody can run with them right now, and they are not allowed any communication devices stay in the locker room. When they travel, it stays on the bus, and that's how I come up playing. It's okay, but we didn't have to have music back then.
Bingo.
I mean,
is your phrase back then?
Yeah, but is it a distraction? And I'm going to say this: AJ McCarron made a statement. Maybe yesterday he interviewed, and I'm not going to say it verbatim, but he said all these kids are worried about is TikTok. So,
I mean, that's the world we're in now.
Nick, do you think social media is partly a distraction?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, and again, I'm not saying that, hey, just because these guys want to have a bunch of fun, you gotta just there's no rules and do whatever you want. Like, it's not that. It's just that to expect, this is a no fun zone. It's just not realistic. But I think you still need to make sure that it's again, there's a balance. There's a healthy balance. You find that middle, and I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm glad I don't have to be the one to figure it out. But yeah, you have to have structure. You have to have discipline. You have to have accountability. You have to have those qualities. What does that look like? It probably varies by coach, by program. Right. And there's not a right or wrong answer. But to think it's just, again, it's not Junction Boys anymore. It's not even, frankly, what Saban was doing in a lot of his years running the program. I mean, like, a lot of players want more fun things than I think Nick Saban allowed. And again, it's just, how do you find that spot where they can have some fun, but also have fun by winning games and have fun by having structure. So again, I'm glad I have to figure it out, but it's something that coaches have to try to strive for all the time.
You're right. The great Nick Saban was dealing with the same problem the last 2-3 years.
That's right.
I mean, it's the same deal. So the crowd that's like, Saban never woulda, or give me Nick Saban back, please, whatever. And it's like, he's going to be dealing with the same problems.
Yep.
But as a 75-year-old man instead of a 50-year-old man.
Yep. Right. I see it. And I guess that's the landscape and what we're dealing with now. So,
right. Nick Saban needs to go in the locker room at halftime and chew everybody out. I'm like, what's that going to do? They don't respond to getting chewed out anymore. It's not the world anymore. Like, accept it.
That's it. Well, Nick, I know you got to run, and we appreciate you coming back and into this circus with us.
Before you go, Nick, can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah, what's up?
Not about football. Basketball coming up. What's the mood around town about hoops? Is everybody excited about as I am? I mean, this is basketball expectations are much worse than football. I mean, it's a bigger gut punch when those basketball expectations don't get met. It's a gut punch, way worse than football. I don't know why, it just is, but this is a pretty exciting season coming up for Bama hoops.
The expectations are high, but I think in the same way that Nate Oates is glad he's got the problem of trying to figure out how to distribute minutes, I think he'd rather have the expectations and have this team could go win a national championship rather than, gosh, hope we can get lucky kind of thing. So I think that
he's very confident about that.
Yeah, I mean, expectations are something you got to deal with, something you got to manage when you're Alabama. But I mean, they have expectations for a reason, or high expectations for a reason. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage it and how they go in being such a favorite like they are the number 2 team in the country. So it's such an interesting time. And frankly, I'm just excited to cover it just to see kind of how it unfolds. And I'm excited to see what good basketball we get to watch too.
Hey, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about basketball season 2. So
that's it. Well, Nick, we appreciate it. Everybody get over to Twitter or X and give Nick a follow @_Nick Kelly. And until we see you next time, we will hopefully it'll be before Thanksgiving. So
thanks for coming on, Nick. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it, Nick.
Roll Tide,
thanks
Nick.
for having me, guys. Always enjoyed chatting with you. Have a good rest of your week.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
All right.
What's wrong?
I'm getting this. Nope, I'm getting this.
Close
We're
enough.
back. And we're back.
That's it. I don't know where all the banners and everything is, so
yeah, I'll get it all.
Yeah.
There
we go.
Yeah, that was a good interview, man. I like
it.
I like Nick, man.
I enjoy hanging out with Nick. Now let's go get to some of these guys in the comment section.
I haven't been looking at any of the chat.
They've been getting a little rowdy.
Oh boy, I haven't been looking at any of the chat while Nick was here. I was trying to stay focused.
Yeah, let me get up here. Let's see, we got K Spray in here. Jay Walker, C Dub, Lance is in here cutting up.
Oh boy.
MJ.
What up, MJ?
Let's see. James Hall.
K Spray, Lance in the house. Yeah, Lance always bring it. I like Lance.
James had an interesting comment about Hire Pruitt as an advisor to the DC with an emphasis on the in-game adjustments.
I mean,
it's not a bad idea.
Can he be hired as an advisor?
I don't see. I do not know. I know with his show clause, I don't know how it's written. I think he has to. I think he has to be on payroll. He has to be on payroll, but he cannot actually work.
Okay. So yeah, I knew something was up. I knew. Oh man.
Yeah. So
why did he have to leave and take that Tennessee job, knowing he was going to get guillotined? They were going to throw him under the bus. Come on.
Yep.
Yes, Caleb. This is a good question. That is terrifying. What precedent that's about to set when students realize what they can do.
Yeah, and what's insane is I feel like the officials were pressured into it, but I mean, who runs the game? The student section or the officials?
Well, even if they took a delay, that's not your opportunity to go watch the replay and check the call.
That's it.
You got to stand there. You can't just go, all right, well, in the meantime, let me just pull my phone out and see this replay. Oh, man, look at this.
Yep.
I mean, just incredible.
Yep.
Link, is that you with Hollywood in that picture?
That's who it looked like. Let's throw it back up. Yeah. Yep, that's Hollywood.
Okay, they got a direct link to Hollywood through Link.
Lance and Antoine made a good point, about Cochran. And and here lately Cochran has been teasing on X with some posts. He made one maybe today showing him in the practice facility while he was still coaching there. And it'd be great.
Longed for him.
It'd be
not
great.
Not in the S&C role, but just some kind of role where he's just around the program and around the guys.
I think after the troubles he's had, I think he may have found his calling.
I was about to say, but he's really doing his thing now, touring, talking to teams about addiction and substance abuse and stuff. So
he is.
I think he's doing what he like you said, what his calling is now. But man, do I miss him. He was.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people got tired of hearing him yelling, but I never did, man. I just love watching him on the sideline. That guy was awesome. While
we're here, let me get over here.
I'm glad he's well. Let me say that as well. I'm glad that he's well, and he seems to be. He seems to be well and taking care of himself and helping others, and that's a good. I'm really happy to see that.
I'm probably going to miss the overlay up here because I'm not good at doing these things.
What you looking for?
Whatever. We fixing to try to pay some bills here, so Michael won't yell at us. The drill. Go like, subscribe,
please, everyone.
Hit the notification bell, retweet.
You 120 people watching us. Retweet.
We need all the help we can get. That's it. And we've been slacking. We've missed some nights, and we're not posting as much as we normally do, but we all have a real job. We do it.
Believe it or not.
We do it for you guys. We don't do it for us. This isn't for us. We're trying to bring you all of the
Caleb, I do.
Not necessarily misinformed information, but we're bringing you the facts that we can gather, and we just like to have fun. That's it. Bill's lost again, and Michael's taking pictures.
That he is.
Yep, he is. But,
have fun.
It's okay.
Guys. It's okay. Who needs them?
Bill's in the woods. Bill's on a hunting trip, and they leave it to us.
Bill in the woods. That's hysterical.
Yep.
I don't do the woods. Glamour shots.
Yeah.
Yes, Caleb. I believe Tennessee.
I do. I think McCarron made it
dirty.
I think McCarron made a comment about it. He said they pump it in. I mean, think about this. If Bryant Denny, if they can pump in enough noise during Dixieland Delight to cover up the F word.
Why do they want to cover it up, man? That's part of the song. Know. Just accept it.
They can pump crowd noise in. I'm
gonna
look at the show notes real quick. Let's see. We went over the defense. We talked to Nick. Talked about Milroe injury. I don't even want to talk about the game this past week. We're past that. We're looking forward to Missouri.
Mizzou at home.
And and speaking of that, have you saw the availability list?
I saw it, but I didn't study it. I meant to grab a screenshot of it and look at it. But I know the quarterback from Mizzou is listed on there as doubtful.
Right now, as far as Bama goes, Sabb and Jones are out. Red Morgan's probable. That's the only three on there.
I knew Sabb was out. Sabb's out for a while.
Yeah. It doesn't look good for Mizzou. We need
to bust their ass. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
pardon my French. We just need to bust them.
Mookie Cooper's out, the wide receiver. Then they've got two defensive ends out. Their backup Sam Horn is out.
Okay.
Quarterback Khalil Jacobs, linebacker's out. Nate Noel and Brady Cook, Nate Noel's running back, they're both doubtful.
There's no reason this game should be close. We should destroy Mizzou.
They've got 4 defensive backs that are questionable, offensive lineman questionable, tight end, and a wide receiver that's probable. We should crush them.
We should crush them.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we come out and lay another dud for the 4th game in a row?
No, we can't do that. We've got to come out
heading into Baton Rouge. Come on,
show. We got to show some life.
Got to show something.
It's just I just feel like every single team we face from here on out is going to run some form or what do we get here? What is that?
What the?
Did you let that in?
No, I did not.
What is? Who is this? What the hell is happening? My God.
The Shape has some thoughts on the Missouri game.
Is there anything you'd like to say about the Missouri game, Mr. Shape?
Kill them.
He said kill them.
I'll take that.
Okay. Mr. Shape.
Lance, God.
But as I was going to say, he said that is MJ for sure. Michael Jackson. I think everybody we face, they're going to run some form or shape of a triple option.
They should. We should be running that.
They've seen us get exposed, so
we should be running the Vanderbilt offense, play for play.
Yeah, we should.
It's right there.
Let's see, right here. If Milroe comes out struggling, he
should have done it the last game.
But the question is, Jeff, how long do we let him struggle before they make a change? That's it.
I mean, if it's halftime and it's 7-0, and he's playing bad, you do it then.
Yeah.
But I think they should have pulled him after that sequence where Jeremy was wide open in the end zone and he threw cross to Williams 10 yards over his head, and he could have just taken off and run for 25 yards. Yes, I agree, Lance.
Yep, I do too.
I totally agree. Completely agree.
First turnover and first half gone.
I mean, I don't know if Ty's the answer. He's had 3 years to win the job and he hasn't done it yet. So I don't know that Ty's the answer, but maybe he could throw it better.
Well, it's that if you do the same thing over and over with the same outcome, you've got to do something different.
I totally agree with that.
You have to do something different.
So I'm saying you got to try. This is it now. This is halftime of the Georgia game in 2017. Now, if it ain't working, you got to change it up. I thought that was Mr. Portal for a second.
What? Are you letting this guy in?
No. It's the Waaaay Offsides ghost.
Wait, what did he say?
Pitt is killing Syracuse.
Is that
William
all
Shatner,
you
has informed us that Pitt is killing Syracuse?
That's L-E.
That's Mr. Portal.
It's something, man. I think he just wanted to say killing.
I think he did too. He's been wanting to say kill ever since he found out he had to take his kid to get a picture taken.
Yeah. See, Howard said he loves him, but Ty can do the job.
I mean,
and Lance makes a point. Move to Ty's mainly to get Milroe's mind right. So
bingo.
Maybe.
That was screaming that Saturday when Sark pulled viewers. I said, the quarterback QB1 on the undefeated #1 team in the country just got yanked because he was playing bad. Why is Milroe untouchable, but QB1 on the number 1 ranked undefeated team, it can be pulled, but Milroe can't if he's playing bad.
This question right here: can Bama win out? I believe Bama can win out, but
don't think we will.
I mean, I see. My honest opinion, if they continue to play the way they have played the last 3 to 4 weeks, no, they'll drop 2 more this.
We're
this
regressing
season.
each week. We're not getting better offensively each week. I think defensively we've come along. We're getting better, but offensively we're regressing. It feels like every game. It's like, okay, now we're going to turn around this game, and then we get a little bit worse. And then a little bit worse. And now, Four's got 2 end zone interceptions in the last 2 games, 4 picks total the last 2 games.
You know, this comment here,
last 3.
I've noticed this. Milroe on the sideline, lounge back like he's in a lazy boy. You know, he hits the sideline, he sits down. There's no fire, there's no passion. You know, he's not walking around trying to get them fired up. It's just like he's on cruise control.
There's something off.
Yeah, it's like he's on cruise control.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Did that Vanderbilt loss just gut him?
Maybe.
Is
Maybe.
all the vitriol that the Bams and the Gumps, us Gumps and Bams have unleashed on him in the last 2 weeks? Is he just like?
Who knows, man? It's just, you know, I do know this. If Cook starts and plays for Missouri, we're going to have a long day.
If he's right.
If he is right, we're going to have a long day. We will.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's going to.
I don't know, man.
I'm not seeing improvement each week, and that's what concerns me. It's Milroe's regressed really 3 straight games now, and I don't understand what.
That's right.
I don't know if it's film is out and the defenses are playing it different, or he's dinged and he won't take off running. I mean, you know, the plays where he gashes people running are not the QB running plays, are the plays where he drops back to pass. Oh, 1, 2, 3, it's covered. I'm gone. But he's down 4, 5, 6, and then getting hit. And everybody's like, Proctor gave up another sack. And I'm like, well, he's blocking a guy for 6 seconds, and then he finally got around him. Or he's blocking him for 5 seconds, and he finally held him because, you know, whatever. And then Proctor gets killed. And I'm like, he was blocking him for 4 or 5 seconds. That's plenty of time to either say, I'm out of here, or I'm throwing it to this guy. I think it may be that, or it might be skill. He might not be able to make the throws.
Yeah,
you need to make in the full offense. Maybe
you know, I made a comment about him not having any pocket awareness. He doesn't have that sixth sense that most quarterbacks have. He can't feel the pressure on his blind side at all. And that's what I think. That's what kills us. But you know, did you see any of the? Did you see any of the McCarron interview about him?
No, and I saw some quotes. Who's Cotto? I don't know who Cotto is. I saw some quotes of some things that he said, and I chose not to watch it. I cannot. It really, really upsets me seeing former players trash current players in public, on social media and interviews. So I chose not to watch it. Cotton in his eye.
Look at this guy.
What's up, guys?
No, just waiting on you to get finished with glamour shots. Yep.
Not mine. So got to do the senior photos, man. Got to do the senior photos. Are we talking about Jalen Milroe?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys know what's going to happen, right?
When?
What?
Saturday.
What?
The kid's going to go out there and absolutely torch Missouri. Watch.
If he doesn't. If he does, I mean, have you seen the injury list for Missouri.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I mean, Auburn's cheerleaders could go out and beat them.
Minimum 8.
Yep.
He did miss a lot of open passes. We don't like. I was listening, Jeff. You were talking about his regression, and yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad. Here's the thing, though, that I'm still kind of holding on to is we know what Alabama looks like when they're clicking on all cylinders. When they are clicking on all cylinders, those 2 quarters we got to see it, they look like the best team in the country. And it's not really close. Ask Georgia. But, man, it's disheartening because the one thing I hoped to kind of see this year was consistency. And it just has not been there for the 3rd year straight.
Yep.
And for all of you guys, I know a lot of people are like, this wouldn't be happening under Nick Saban. I got news for you. It's been happening under Nick Saban.
Thank you.
For 2 years.
Like 3 years now.
Yeah. It's just easier to blame it on a new coach now. But if you've watched Alabama football over the last 2 seasons, the product has not looked the same. And I've blamed it on everything I can. Outside of those players out of sheer loyalty, and I can't do it anymore. They are playing like ass. They are dragging their feet. They are concerned with everything off the field, and it's showing big time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big time. And this is a very young team, but there's still solid Saban era leadership that is failing the younger guys, and that's a problem. Jalen Milroe, Ty Booker. I'm sure that they're trying to lead these kids, but they're not getting through, and that is so frustrating to see. And it's bad.
It's the world we're in now. This is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
This is it. This is how it's going to be, no matter who we hired. That's why Saban quit. He was tired of it.
Yep.
And like we said earlier, Cotton, he's not going to be 75 dealing with these kids. DeBoer's 50, so he's much more. Conditioned to do that. And
he brought on a staff to help him manage it like Courtney Morgan. Nick Saban didn't have.
Right.
So,
I mean, we're going to be fine. It's just, we're going to have to hiccup for this year. And
next
the transition year is always the most difficult.
Yeah. Next year is probably not going to be beautiful either. I think that will be.
No,
right?
I think
2026 is really the year that we should be expecting to be contention.
That's right.
And if we get there next year or this year, we should consider it like that's a really great job. He's doing a really great job. And
Link has got the inside connection.
Well,
look
right
at Link's
there.
Picture here. Cotton.
Look at the profile.
Link is like.
Maybe
Link, when we get Hollywood on the show next week, I need you to do a couple things for me.
Yeah, Link, get him on the show, man. Come on.
Yeah, when you hook us up with Hollywood, can you do me this favor?
Yeah, come on, Link. Carry your weight, sir.
He said, carry your weight, sir.
They're going to throw the ball 50 plus times to him. So,
well,
no kidding.
We may have an open spot after this weekend on the show. I'm sure Bill will get eaten by something.
When does Bill go to Cuba?
I don't know. Well, you can't say where he's going. Damn it, Jeff!
Hey, come on, man.
That's top secret. Operation Chaplain,
security, buddy. OPSEC, baby.
That's right.
That's Operation Suntan.
We need to have a special going away show.
We should. When's he leave?
He heads out and do something
around Thanksgiving, isn't it?
I think it's right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, maybe we should all show up at. Maybe we should all show up at his place.
No, we should all show up at the airport, man.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard for me.
Good. What are we going to do? Good. Hold a sign up. Good luck with your transition surgery in Cuba.
No, we need to, when he comes home, wait in the airport with a sign that says "Welcome home from prison, Dad."
So there's some good questions about transfers in here. Caleb is talking. Odom, I think a lot of people might have overreacted to some of the social media posts. I will say that they definitely need to utilize the guy. If you're going to be throwing it in the end zone, he's a hell of a target to throw it to at 6'5".
But hey, even if he threw that ball to Odom, there's such a poor throw that was going to get picked, regardless if that was Andre the Giant in the back corner.
This comment right here.
I was just going to say that.
Sorry, Chris. I thought I hit that by
this one right here. Simple battles, 1 second.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of reached the threshold where they had enough. And we've heard the talk all week about them going back to disciplinary being disciplined in small things. Jay Walker, just based off of what you're saying, I'm assuming that you were prior service. I'm prior service. Bill is still in the service. We all know attention to detail that can change the outcome of a situation. And it starts with those tiny little things, right? Those small things. And that's really what's been lacking at Alabama, and that's what caused that. I don't know the lack of consistency, and so I think if they focus on that and they take it serious, which just coming from some of the players and the coaches, like there's a different level of accountability happening right now that we're not privy to, which I think is great because that's what they need. I mean, this team needs to be literally popped into shape, and that's what's happening, hopefully. And so hopefully we'll see a different product, but it's hard to give up on him completely. It's hard to sit here and say, yeah, they're going to go into Baton Rouge in 2 weeks and lose because of what they did in the first half against Georgia and how they looked going up to Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. What is he, 50 today?
He's not the only one that had a birthday this week.
Yeah, I did. I turned 40 yesterday.
40. The big 40.
Out of here.
Yeah.
40 for 40.
So you know what it's time for now. It's time for that one doctor's appointment you need to go get.
River.
Yep.
You ever serve time, Doc?
Worst dentist I ever been to.
Mine said he's magic. He can do it without hands. It's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
You need to cut down on smoking. Okay.
Hold my hands.
Stick your hand in my butt to figure that out.
Back to the transfers. Look, guys, if guys transfer out, it sucks.
They're going to.
And it's going to happen. There's probably going to be a good bit of
them. They're going to.
In December.
Yep.
Thanks, Caleb. But Milroe, if he doesn't draft, which at this point I don't know that he's going to, unless he just cuts it on the last half of the season. Yeah, he's not going to. He's probably going to transfer out. And that's okay. I wish him the best of luck. Yeah. Keep in mind, as frustrating as it's been to watch his regression, keep in mind that Milroe did stay. And I guarantee you his phone was ringing off the offers from all over the place, and he stayed.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so
his part in this can never be ignored. If this turns around, when this turns around and DeBoer starts winning at his rate, that Milroe will have played a big part in this transition, which is the most difficult transition that's ever been or will ever be.
Yeah.
Because like I told Nick earlier, Cotton, no one will ever have to follow this 16-year run that Saban had from 08 to 23. No one ever again will have a run like that, and no one will ever have to follow somebody like that ever again anywhere.
Yeah. I look at it this way, and I've kind of, I think that because we're Alabama, a lot of our expectations were probably way too high coming into this season, and we weren't realistic. But let's assume Alabama drops another game in between now and the end of the season. That's actually pretty solid, given the situation and what happened. That's actually a pretty successful season.
Yes.
No, it's not a playoff. It's not a national championship. But as long as they keep this class together, which I think they're going to mostly do, we may lose one or two guys. But as long as they keep this class together and DeBoer starts plugging and playing his guys into this system, man, I don't see a reason not to be extremely optimistic. No, Alabama's not going to go win national championships every single year like they were in contention for before. But that's college football as a whole anyway now.
Yep.
No one's doing that. You're not going to see a back-to-back national champion. You'll be lucky if you see that again.
Probably won't.
Yeah.
Especially with playoffs now, because it's a crapshoot. But listen, Georgia won 10 games the year before Kirby got there. He got there and went 8-5 with a 10-win team. So, it's hard. It's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win in a transition year. It's hard to win if your quarterback can't throw.
Yeah, and this is probably the most difficult year in college football, at least in the last 20 years that I can remember.
Yeah.
And so
everything is new. Everything. Not just at Bama. Like the whole landscape is new.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, just give it time. Be patient. If you can't stomach it, jump off the bandwagon.
These unhinged BAMs are just killing me.
Yeah, go buy you some Georgia gear or something like that. Caleb,
some college game day gear because I'd be loving Nick Saban. That's all I want is Nick Saban. Saban.
They want to talk about commits on the horizon.
I'll jump in this real quick while I'm in here, and then I'm going to jump off and let you guys finish. There's not a whole lot going on. You've got some big visits this weekend. I think Justice Terry might be in Tuscaloosa. Yep. Ivan Taylor may be there. Anquan Fagans will be there. The big one that I would keep an eye on is Ivan Taylor. He's kind of on the fence. We put in a prediction that we think Alabama's eventually going to land him. I know Courtney Morgan is working hard on that. So we'll see what happens there. That's the one you want to watch. Alabama is in desperate need of help with DBs to thicken up that secondary. But keep in mind, a lot of the movement you're going to see in recruiting moving forward for Alabama is going to be in the transfer portal or potentially JUCO. You've already seen one JUCO player commit to Bama. They did flip the tight end from who was it committed to? North Carolina. I'll say that one's hard to get excited about for me just because the guy took like 100-level jump on 3 in like 2 weeks. And so I don't know how good the guy really is, but you've got Caleb Edwards coming in. Guys, look, if Alabama's probably, they're at number 1 right now in some rankings. They're probably not going to finish there, but we've been telling you guys all off season, as long as they finish in the top 5, it's going to be fine. Alabama, the fact that Nick Saban is gone and Alabama's going to finish with a top 5 class, if they go make the playoff this year, they'll probably hold together this class. If they make it next year, they'll probably finish with the number 1 class in the following season. It's going to be fine. So,
y'all remember, losing games doesn't mean the class is going to dissolve. Losing games almost helps because these guys are like, man, they need me now. I can walk in there now and play now.
That's right.
If they're 14-0, 3 years in a row, guys like I'm going to be 3rd on the depth chart before I get in there. But so losing games doesn't necessarily mean that the class is going to get obliterated.
Look at Auburn holding their class together.
Because those guys are looking like, man, I can walk in there and play now.
Exactly. Plus, it puts pressure on boosters and the collectives to kind of pony up a little more dough.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fine, guys. Courtney Morgan, in Courtney Morgan we trust. He's done it at Michigan. He's done it at Washington. There's no reason he can't do it at Alabama.
He will do it here.
All right. On that note, I'm going to bounce, guys.
All right. Peace.
Roll Tide.
Peace out. Roll Tide. Bye.
So Lance is dead accurate on this comment right here.
Which one? Well, yes, he is.
Because Jay Walker said this, the kicker Pitt just kicked 50, 60, and 55 in the rain, and then Lance responded with this. Yeah. He's dead right. That knuckleball he kicked in Tennessee, man, that thing landed about halfway in the end zone, and I was like,
It's crazy, man. That is insane. But everything we talked about tonight, I think in the long run, we're going to be okay.
Yes, we're going to be good. We're going to be fine.
It's growing.
This is a new world of 1 to 2 losses a year now. This is going to be the new regular. A lot of teams, a lot of good teams are going to lose a game or two.
And
Texas is great. They got smoked.
Of course, NIL's been around a few years, but it's different now. This year, you're really seeing it. We're seeing what it's doing, and is it a good thing? In my opinion, not really. I guess if you, from a player standpoint, yes, it is, but it's not. It's killing the game that we love. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. The game that we all grew up with, it is, but it ain't going to go back. And
now, speaking of the game,
accepted.
I grew up with. My first love was baseball, and
Mine still is.
Jeff, your Yankees are going to battle it out with my Dodgers. Starting
You're a
tomorrow
Dodgers.
night.
I didn't know you were a Dodger fan.
Oh man, I've been a Dodgers fan forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in
I'm pumped about this World Series. Last year's World Series was a
but I think there's
this
a lot
year
of
is going to be great.
there's a lot of attitude going to be in this one.
A lot of bat
I think
flips
so.
are going to go
Yep.
on in these games. It's going to be a lot of bat
Oh, it
flipping.
is.
There's going to be some relievers screaming on the mound after some strikeouts. You know.
Yep. I think what do you? I'm not going to ask who you. You think the Yankees will take it? I think the Dodgers will take it. But do you think it goes a full 7?
No, I said Yankees in 6 when the Dodgers beat the Mets. I said Yankees in 6.
All right. I can respect that, but we'll see.
I don't know why. I just think at some point Judge is going to hit, and
Well,
I think that'll be the difference.
You know what got me is the Dodgers lost to the Mets. I think they could have easily won. I think they threw that game so they could win the National League at home.
I
really
they were
do.
clearly better than the Mets, and then in there's like a 9-0 Mets win, and you're like,
Exactly.
what's that?
Like, what
You look at
happened
the
here?
lineup, and like none of the starters are playing.
But
Like the bullpen
Caleb said Dodgers in 6. I can respect that.
That could happen too. I mean, the Dodgers are good, man. They got Shohei leading
Well,
off.
let's see. Do they play the first 2 in LA? I believe.
It's 2-3-2 format.
Okay.
And the Yankees have been the best road team all year, and so I think they'll win a Game 6 in Dodger Stadium.
Well, let's
They'll
see what
the
happens.
First 2, they'll take 2 or 3 in New York, and then they'll win Game 6.
Yeah. You know the way it
Game
goes
7,
with the
I think,
Dodgers,
too.
though. The way it goes with the Dodgers, they'll win the first 3 and drop the last 4. That's how it works.
I know that's
Well,
right.
look,
That's been their pattern the last few years.
it's getting late. Let's move on to these picks. I'm ready for bed.
All right.
This is just me and you. We got Bill and Cotton's picks.
Oh man, we got Lance on the show, man. This guy's gold.
Man,
Time to.
I didn't even see that.
Science experience gone awry. Hey, why not? I mean,
Hey.
try something.
Whatever works. We
All right,
got
let's
Notre
get to the pick.
we got Notre Dame at Navy. Notre Dame favored by 13.5. 11
Give me
a.m.
Navy.
kickoff.
Give me Navy.
Going with Navy. You know what? I'm going with Navy on this one.
The undefeated Navy. Should.
They are. So
I'm going Navy.
Oklahoma at Ole Miss at 11 a.m. kickoff. Ole Miss favored by 20.
I got Ole Miss to win. I don't know if they'll cover, but I think they'll win.
I'll take Ole Miss. All right, here it is. Number 20, Illinois at number 1, Oregon. Oregon over Illinois is a 21.5 point favorite.
I think Oregon will be too much at home. As much as these upsets have been occurring, I just can't see Illinois going up there and winning that game in Alton Stadium.
I'm going with Oregon. Maybe if they were on the road, maybe.
They're playing pretty well though. Oregon's playing pretty well now.
Oh yeah,
They're getting their stuff going.
they're hitting on all 8. Number 5, Texas at number 25, Vanderbilt. They do have the nets up in front of the visitor section to keep water bottles off the field.
If Vanderbilt is ultimate trolling you, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hang on, what's on my camera here?
Do the hand thing, Jeff.
These
Do the
fancy,
hand.
super fancy cameras. They can't focus for shies. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, but they're trolling, man.
Yes, Lance. The Viking needs to smoke. Give the Viking whatever he wants. You don't tell a Viking he can't do something.
Nope, definitely not. What do you think with Texas and Vanderbilt?
Give me the doors, baby. We're gonna beat number one. Texas is number one. But I was gonna say they're gonna beat number one twice this year.
You know what? I'm going with Vandy too. I got a feeling that. Yeah,
that may be crazy, but quarterback, they can win any game they play with that quarterback.
I think they can too.
No, I think if they can come to the game and he's out, no chance.
Yeah, man, and you know, Clark Lee he is not a slouch in their coaching. So,
I mean, I know they struggled against Ball State, which, you know, I expected that, but this is big time here.
Yep.
And I think
it is.
Avi is going to answer the bell.
Oh yeah. All right. Penn State at Wisconsin. Penn State favored by 6.5.
Give me the Nittany Lions.
I'm taking the Badgers.
Taking the Badgers.
Taking
Wisconsin here. All right.
That's it. Number 8 LSU at number 14 Texas A&M. A&M favored by 2.5. 6:30 kickoff, and A&M is playing a blackout game. They got some good looking uniforms.
Oh man. I really need LSU to win because they need to be going into next week coming off a high of beating A&M and not ticked off that they lost. So give me LSU. Big on the road.
LSU.
Nussmeier and Kyron Lacey are just too much.
Yeah,
and that freshman running back they got, that's a bad dude.
I'm going with LSU because they don't lose many games when they're in the road whites. They just don't. All right. Michigan State at Michigan favored by 5.
Give me the Wolverines.
Ooh, the Wolverines.
It's got a nice pair of smooth criminals down under.
Yeah, I'm going with Michigan. Here's the game of the week: Auburn at Kentucky. Kentucky favored by 2.5.
You know good and well Kentucky's going to lose this game, but I'm taking Kentucky.
Kentucky, I'm going with Auburn. I got to go with Auburn on this one. Kentucky, they were running on that high for like 2 weeks.
They're going to blow it. I know Kentucky's going to blow it, but I just can't. I can't do it. Oh, wait a minute here.
What?
What is this?
Really? We'll have to do some research when we get off of here.
I'll look that up when I get off the air here.
Definitely. Cincinnati at Colorado. Colorado favored by 4.
Buffaloes.
Speaking of Buffaloes, what do you think? You think they end the season with 8 to 9 wins?
Colorado?
Yeah. Maybe.
I think they are. I think they're gonna be 9-3 at the end of the year.
I'm going with Colorado.
Going to win the Coach of the Year
tomorrow night. Boise State
next year. Hi-oh!
Boise State at UNLV.
Broncos.
Boise State favored by 2.5.
I never played against my Broncos.
I'm taking the Broncos myself.
Fucking Bronx, baby.
What everybody's waiting on, number 21 Missouri at number 15 Bama. Bama favored by 13.5 right now.
You already know.
Yep. Going with Bama.
I don't pick against the Tide, baby.
Sometimes you can't. But that's it.
It's cost me twice this year.
I think, guys, next week, I think we're doing a Wednesday night show because Halloween is on Thursday and Cotton has to play dress up and fly a broom or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so do I.
Dressing up like Harry Potter, playing Quidditch.
Harry Potter?
But Cotton, you're a wizard.
Oh, is it hanging out again? I'm sorry. Let me put it back in.
Let the boy watch. Oh.
Oh, boy.
Anyway,
we're about to derail.
That's it. We are. Let's get out of here before we derail.
Goes after dark mode. Or more
you got your finger button on the outro.
Yeah, I got the outro.
As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, brush your teeth. Horns down. Jeffrey, horns down.
Roll Tide.
Beat Auburn, LSU, Tennessee 2. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.